A man's personality and character is exuded through his haircut. Your image is important. Our high-end services range from a traditional haircut and shave to gray blending, beard shaping, and unwanted hair removal. Located at 425 Victoria Avenue East. Book your appointment online now at modernmen.ca or call Tammy, 306-522-4111. Modern Men, a haircut for the modern man.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, we have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
The Stars offered me box seats, luxury box suites for Game 7? I think it was Game 6. And I said, hey, Stanley Cup could get handed out tonight. I've always wanted to be in the building when the Stanley Cup gets handed out. And she said, we came down here for George Strait. We're going to George Strait.
How about that?
So I walked out of Cowboys Stadium. No. Who won the Stars game?
Yeah.
Who won the Stars game? It's Dallas in 2000. No, the who, the what? And I'm like, this wouldn't have happened in Winnipeg. They know.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, our mics are live, they tell us. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Brand new week. Welcome to Canada's daytime sports talk show. RP here and Darren Moose DuPont there. You'd think we had our act together. I was in here reasonably early. We've been meeting for 40 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And then I pick up the Prairie Mobile text line, and it's as dead as a doornail. It's a paperweight. I'm like, we didn't want to think about plugging that in?
Yeah. We missed that one.
Don't!
We'll get it.
How are you?
I'm good.
See, I got my Tom Brady
All
gear
things
on.
together.
All things considered.
Yeah.
I got my bunny hug on here from Tom Brady. He's a winner, don't you know?
Oh, yeah.
All part of what we're going to talk about here. Over the next 2 hours, your favorite sports talk show has some very big-name guests today. I got to butter him up. He's probably watching right now. Vegas Golden Knights insider Gary Lawless is going to join us from Vegas, where it is game day. And last week when I put to the viewers, whom would you like to hear from U.S. teams? Leading the way was Gary Lawless and the Vegas Golden Knights.
Awesome.
They got a big footprint in America, and clearly one in Canada, too. And then we've got Andy McNamara joining us from Sportsnet's fantasy football programs, and he's the biggest Cleveland Browns fan in Canada. Clark, do you remember the name of the podcast he hosts for the Browns? What the specific name of it is? I can look it up. I thought you might have known off the top of your head. But Andy McNamara is no stranger to this show, former voice of the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Toronto Rock. Now he's doing fantasy football at Sportsnet. But he's going to join us to talk about the Browns. And Braden Moscoe from Team Dunstone. it was, what was it, Thursday? The huge news that Team Dunstone will be representing Saskatchewan. This has broad appeal, I believe, to not just Saskatchewan viewers, but curling fans across the entire country because they're going to the bubble. They've been anointed the provincial champions. And so I got a lot of things to get to with Braden and thoughts on that. But before we go any further, let's go with the quick 6 show topics, please, Jordan. Please and thank you. By the way, Dupes, did you have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend.
Good.
Yeah.
A lot of that's encompassed in the quick 6 show topics here, but I'm getting old. I was telling you, you saw a photo of myself and our dog, my daughter's dog, Miko, watching Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of weekend watching Yellowstone with Miko, and I've become that guy that's realized if I buy a box of 60 Keurig cups at Costco, it's more cost effective than going to buy this coffee at this drive-through, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 and grind coffee grounds at home. I become that guy.
Okay. Wow. So now it's,
wow.
I can save 13 cents a cup by going here.
Yeah.
And over the course of 2 months, it's going to be, okay.
It saves me time. I've become that guy. And you know why? For lack of better things to do.
Yeah.
Nothing else going on. So I just wanted to point that out. Point 1 of our quick 6 show topics. NFC playoff scores. I'm just going to rattle them off. And I guess we can give our thoughts just on the NFC results. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating New Orleans 30-20 probably was the best game of up there.
Yeah.
Green Bay beating the LA Rams 32-18. That was the worst game. That wasn't even in doubt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they were going to the fourth quarter in the Tampa game 20-20. What's better than that?
Oh, yeah. I know. And there was a lot of talk about Breeze and Brady and maybe the games past their prime. You don't get to championship weekend or into the divisional round if you're not good, without a good quarterback. You look at the quarterbacks who are left, and I tweeted this last night. I mean, it is the best of the best. And yeah, there was some, sloppy play. The defenses played really well, but there's 2 of the game's best quarterbacks still going toe-to-toe. And it wasn't all about them making plays, but they were in a tight game, and it was about how they were navigating it. It was great.
I got to interject. John Ohm, watching in Winnipeg, he says, please, no North Division after this year. I want to see more than 6 teams play my own team. Hang on, John. We got to that's our poll question. So as soon as you log on, for those that are watching on Facebook Live, that's the first thing that pops up in your face is the vote. That's why he's talking about it. So we'll come back around on that, but I want everybody's thoughts on the poll question today, which is, should the Scotia North Division last past this year? I saw Andrew Patterson, our good friend Hustler from TSN 1290 Winnipeg, kind of started that notion, and then another bunch of media jumped on it and fans saying, yeah. So I just want to get your take, and then I'll give mine a little later on. But thanks, John, for the comment on that. So to the AFC playoffs, and probably the most interesting game, which wasn't going in one you would think would be the most interesting game, was Cleveland, Kansas City, right? You would have thought that'd be a rout.
Yeah, well, and I did. I thought it would be a rout, and it was leaning that way.
What was the point spread? 10 points?
It was 10 points, and I picked the Chiefs to, and they were well on their way to covering that spread until Patrick Mahomes went out, and then Baker made it close. But how about Chad Henne?
How about him?
Who would have thought
how about that?
He'd be the hero running for 14 yards to set up that 4th and 1, and then the call by Andy Reid. Even Tony Romo, who bats almost 1,000 in predicting plays, thought couldn't call that one.
Well, yeah, and jumping back and forth here, but looks like a new viewer, Dustin Lezzy, says, I love that the Habs games will be on TV more and not blacked out so much like they do on TSN. So, yeah, see, that's what people want to delve into, not as much NFL. So let me just say this. It'll rear its head again in my quick 6 show points, so I'll just continue. To point 3, NHL weekend notes, because that's where everybody is. I was telling the boys in the pre-show meeting that I love that Darren and Clark have the Leafs locked down, because I don't care for the Leafs. So I knew you guys were watching that game Saturday night.
Yeah.
That freed me up to watch the Oilers and the Habs and analyze that, and then flip over to the Golden Knights and the Ducks and analyze that. And between all of us, we got everything covered.
You bet.
It's great that way. And then tonight, well, let me back up. I tweeted Sunday morning. Here's my thoughts from Saturday night. The Leafs are number 1 in Canada. It's glorified likes and retweets if you tweet something like that. You know that, right?
Yeah.
What do you call it? Glad handing or something like that. Cheap.
Pandering to the audience.
Pandering.
I love it.
Thank you. Pandering. That's what it was. And it works. What else did I say? The Coyotes look good. And they do.
Yeah.
They look good. The Golden Knights have a flair for the dramatic. They trailed all game, Anaheim 1-0. And then Willie Karlsson scores with like just over a minute to go to tie it. And then 7 seconds into overtime. Patches scores for the Golden Knights and they win. And then the Oilers, their fans are all upset. Like all is right in the world, really.
Oh, yeah.
Oilers fans are wild. Leafs fans are planning the parade. The world stabilized.
Exactly.
But Jets fans were writing me saying, Rod, there's one undefeated team, only one undefeated team in Canada. And it's the Winnipeg Jets. And they go against Canada's team tonight at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. Jets and Leafs.
It'll be good. What more do you want?
We're less than a week into the regular season, and we got this huge matchup for all the marbles. It's all the marbles for one night until tomorrow.
Well, and
it's perfect.
That was it, right? You know, on Friday night, the Leafs lose to Ottawa in a game. They played pretty good, but it's okay. Leafs aren't making the playoffs. You lost one game. They're jumping off a cliff, right? Oilers have a couple of bad games, and, you know, it's disaster. Or you win a game, and all of a sudden, you think you're the best team in all of hockey. You're right. It's so early. It's 1 week in. But that's why we have the poll question is what it is. It's been so entertaining, and we're going to have these great, heated, rivalry-type matchups on a nightly basis. Clark has just reminded our viewers, and thankfully, he's reminded me. If you're on Twitter, go over and retweet our tweet. What a 2020 saying that is right there. To watch on Twitter live right now. We're also on YouTube and Facebook. So those are some of the notes from the weekend, but to the point of the All-Canadian division. Man, we should have a camera on our pre-show meetings because they're so much fun. They are a poster for ADD, right? Oh, yeah.
Zing, 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 zing. We don't stay on one topic very long.
That's right.
But Clark said it would be cool to have the North Scotia division, but the Seattle Kraken would have to be in it. And then while I was just about to debate that, Paul took it in another direction about something else. But I thought the whole concept of the Canadian division is the Canadian division. And, you know, past this year, the border will be open. So you could still have this Canadian division that plays into America. Right?
Yeah, it would play just like the regular divisions would, right? You just play your teams more.
But I also like where Clark's going with it. Like the natural Vancouver-Seattle rivalry is there. We can't screw this up by having them not in the same division, right?
I know.
So it's not going to go past this year, and I can't believe people are even talking about it, primarily because of the travel concept and the time zones. Correct me if I'm wrong, is not every league on the continent separated by geographics. And that's it. And that's the biggest reason. Geographic rivalries, time zone and travel, ratings.
Yeah.
Ratings. Now, having said that, the ratings are pretty high now, but we don't have an option. Canadian teams aren't playing American teams. So we don't know what to put it up against.
That's right. We don't. But it is really cool, and it's going to be awesome when this gets further and they get into a playoff situation because you look at it, it's going to end up being Canada versus the United States. And that's going to be really, really cool. And I think the viewership's going to go through the roof when, you know, we're sitting here trying to figure out, okay, well, who's the best in Canada? Who are we going to pick as our representative to go up against the United States in the NHL? That's cool.
So I'm just reading some of the viewers' comments here that have joined us for coffee. And please go to the bottom of your screen and click share for your Facebook friends, too. Austin Churkus says, I love your show. Another from John Ohm. I love the division, but play in the States, too. Well, that's what will happen moving forth past this year. From our friend Jamie Neugebauer. How about the Leafs-Habs rivalry with Boston, for example? How about it? What are you saying, Nugsy, that these rivalries will end because of geographics and the All-Canadian division? He might be right. There used to be one division, the original 6. So, I don't know. I can't see it moving forward. Maybe I would need to be sold on this.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be convinced. I just don't think that it'll happen. I like seeing my teams. That's why I went and bought center ice. Actually, this morning when I officially consummated the relationship with Access Television, I just called them and I said, put me down for NHL center ice. They just add it to my bill, of course. It goes in your credit card. It's not real money, right? You don't ever see it.
Exactly. You just pay the bill every month. It doesn't change. It doesn't matter what you spend.
It's credit card money. What the hell? Didn't even see it go out of my pocket. Because I just noticed late last week, as I said on the air, whoa. The Golden Knights are playing, and I can't find them. This won't do. So for the fans of the Canadian teams, yes, it's cool. For fans of American teams like myself, yeah, I'm not as big a fan of the Canadian Scotia North Division moving forward. But is the only reason against it time zones? Is that the only reason not to?
I think so.
That might be overcomeable.
Yeah. And when it comes to the networks, then you got this, big deal in Sportsnet, and they won't be showing any American games. I mean, we do see some of them now, but it'll be mostly primarily Canadian. And so you start, not having any influence on those other markets that they want to grow the game in, California and Florida and, different markets throughout the United States. But I like it. I think it's awesome. I think it's great.
I do have to move on to point 4, which is officiating. And so the fumble down at the 1 yard line, or the goal line, wasn't even the one, in the Cleveland-Kansas City game, decided the game. You guys all love Andy Reid throwing on, what was it, 3rd and 4?
4th and 1.
4th and 1. No. When he threw it, when Henny was in the game late, and they were trying to get the first down to kill the clock.
That was 4th and 1. Yeah,
so when he threw it on 4th and 1?
That's why it was such a big play.
But he threw it twice on the one series. We just thought it would be straight rushing play.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. But he threw it, and then, Henny ran for 14 yards, and you thought he picked up the first down. It was 4th and 1, so you think they were going to run the clock out, call a timeout, try and get him to jump to get the first down, which they needed. But instead, they snapped it, and he threw it to Tyreek Hill for the first down.
Right. All of that, though, was not what won the game.
No.
It was the fumble down at the goal line, which you don't see very often. You don't honestly see that very often. And I just kind of got a kick out of the Cleveland fans that were just losing their marbles, saying this rule needs to be changed. One was Jeff Darlington from ESPN. Like, we're talking pundits here.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't have a problem with the rule until it affected your team. I have a real problem with that. And I'm sorry, Brady in Saskatoon, but it's the same thing. He wants the rule changed that the puck goes off a ref into the net. It's disallowed because it hit the ref. Well, you don't want that rule because it scored on your team.
And I
have a real problem with that.
Yeah, and they'll say that, well, no, because this happens other times, and it's not just because it happened to my team. Well, you're only bringing it up because it happened to your team.
Right.
If it didn't happen to your team, we would never talk about it. And that's simply the point.
I know a lot of Cleveland fans, believe it or not, and longtime fans. Kelly Bale. I mean, who would argue to being a Cleveland band jumping fan? You can't. Kelly Bale has been a longtime fan of the Browns, and Chris Moan's another friend of mine. I know a few. And Kelly says, I lost my marbles because the NFL rules are broken. But that's the point, Kelly. I love you, and you know that. But you didn't think they were broken until the rule went against your team. I can tell you Kansas City kind of likes those rules. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I have a problem with that. And God bless officiating people, not just the officials themselves, but their bosses that just have a skin thicker than a damn rhinoceros, that you just can't affect them, right? Because do you want to talk about a thankless job?
Oh, yeah.
Eesh. But we got to speed up because Gary Lawless coming in next. Point 5, funding for junior hockey. I don't know where to start there. I was stunned how much opposition there is to it, given the fact we're a hockey country. But I saw the BC teams within hours of the Saskatchewan teams getting $4 million from the government. The BC teams were knocking on the door of the legend Victoria saying, "Where's ours?" And they got hang on, you're important. They acknowledged them, at least, it seems, for the first time ever.
Yeah, and that's good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because Saskatchewan doles out money, it doesn't necessarily mean BC is going to, or it doesn't necessarily mean that they should, right? Mm-hmm. I hope that they do, and I hope that they can support these teams. But yeah, you're going to get that opposition because there's a lot of people who don't, follow the game or watch the game. But I think it's such an important part of our communities. And I think we need to do what we can to make sure that those teams don't go away.
And the economic spinoff in the communities, and the civic pride, and the mental health of the fans, not the least of which the careers of the participants. So there's a lot to it. In point 6, we'll come to later, just a little football. Adam Bighill agreeing to a $145,000 pay cut, according to Farhan Lalji. I don't know how much Charleston Hughes is being asked to take, but it's a hell of a lot. And should Charleston Hughes be expected to take a massive haircut like Bighill did just for the good of the company, or should he be allowed to look elsewhere without people on his back? That and more. Just one more from Neil Shuchuk. You know Shuey, watching in Whitecourt, Alberta. He says, the Oilers were absolutely awful on Saturday. How can this team, with two of the best players in the world, numerous coaches, etc., be as bad as they are? Shuey, you missed last week when I suggested there's something in the walls. They brought it from Rexall Place to the new place, and they put it in the walls. There's got to be a hex on these guys. Somebody put a loonie with an Oiler logo on it or something?
Something. Or a Flames logo.
Something's in the walls.
Yeah.
We'll be back with Gary Lawless. Hang on. It's our Monday morning coffee get-together. Canada's daytime sports talk show continues after this on Game Plus Television. Now, daily, live on YouTube. And listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Just ahead of Gary Lawless, Jack Fulton's watching in Vulcan, Alberta, regarding Charleston Hughes being asked to take a whopping pay cut. Jack says, leave Charleston Hughes alone to make his own decisions career-wise. The man has earned the right to play for the team, offering him the most dollars. Hey, why so touchy this morning? If you don't like being second-guessed, you probably don't want to be in the sports life or public life. Just saying that. Yeah. I want everybody making as much money as they can. I was just relating it to Adam Bighill, who took this gigantic, looked like a 50% pay cut just to stay with the team because he likes the city and the team. Yeah. Anyways, let's go to Vegas now. Golden Knights insider Gary Lawless joining us. And Gary, I don't know if you saw off the top of the show, happy 21, by the way, 2021. I asked the viewers who you want to hear from, American teams. They said, Vegas, Gary Lawless. So the people have spoken, Gary. That's why you're here today.
They like me on your show because I give the commissioner of the CFL a hard time. That's all. That's why they like me.
Whatever it is, it's the truth. That's what they enjoy. Before we jump into the NHL talk, and I know it's game day for you guys, so I appreciate the time. How about Adam Bighill taking that huge haircut? Not to mention Willie Jefferson and Zach Claros and the rest. What's your read on what's going on in the CFL right now?
Well, the CFL as a business is they didn't play last year. They didn't take in any money. So, there's going to be pay cuts. There's going to be lots of economic and financial issues around the league. And players, it's not like not like the NFL or the NBA or the Major League Baseball where there is a crazy TV contract that can make the whole business profitable without any fans in the stands. The NHL, Gary Bettman has already said they're going to lose over $1 billion this year. With the CFL owners, it's not that they don't have the deep pockets; they could do it. But as a business, there's no case for going that far in the hole where you would look in the future and say, "Okay, we're going to recoup it because we're going to do expansion." There's nowhere really to expand in Canada, or we're going to get all kinds of more money in a TV contract. There's only the pot is only so big in the CFL, so it makes sense to me that there are financial cuts for the players. I'll be honest with you, I'm way more concerned with the people that work for the clubs. Dwayne Mandrusiak lost his job. I've got friends all across the league that have taken big pay cuts. The CFL head office, they took a whole bunch of people out of play. So I have more sympathy and concern for those people than I do for the players. It's a privilege to play. Yeah, you're the show and you deserve to get paid well for it, but only to a certain extent in the Canadian Football League. Economics dictate it is what it is.
Yep, for sure. I got guys, it's just the crazy times when people DMing me in the CFL that have lost their job or taken cuts, and they're saying, how come they're not announcing that? How come they're announcing this and these restructurings? I'm like, I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. Well, there's no handbook.
No one wants to read about Gary Lawless taking a pay cut in the Argos front office or whatever team you want to pick. I'm just using that as an example. There's no interest in that. But Adam Bighill is a guy who helped bring a great cup back to Winnipeg. Charleston Hughes probably make a case to be one of the top 3 pass rushers in CFL history. He's right up there with the best of the best. So there's interest in the fact that those guys are taking a pay cut. That's why that's getting talked and written about.
Gotcha. So to the Golden Knights, 2-0, and they've been interesting. Been interesting games. Talk about the start to the season for the Golden Knights, please.
Yeah, well, I guess you got to talk about Anaheim because that was their opponent, and they came in, and Dallas Eakins had them doing a couple of things very well. They were really structured, and they worked really hard. They didn't offensively. They didn't try anything. They were not. There was no creativity in the neutral zone, and there was no creativity at the offensive blue line. It was get it in, get it down below the goal line. We've got big, heavy forwards. Let's see if we can pin Vegas's blue line in their own zone. And they did that for long stretches. I think Vegas is the superior talent. Eventually took over in game 1, and they won 5-2. And then in the second game, John Gibson was really good for a long time. And then finally, Vegas got their chance late. Mark Stone had a really good weekend, 4 points. Goal and 3 assists. Goals from the Marchessault, Carlson Smith line, which is good to see early on. And the Vegas has got they're right up against the salary cap, so they played with 13 forwards and 5 D on the weekend. And to me, the biggest Pietrangelo had big minutes on Saturday night, but the big story for me was Zach Whitecloud was tremendous, playing over 20 minutes in both nights, and really looks, he is an NHL regular, and I think he's better than a bottom pair D. I think he's a middle pair D, and that's kind of what this 5D has allowed them to see. They've used a rotation Rod, where they've taken their 5D and every guy gets 2 shifts in a 5-shift rotation. And so they mix guys up, they move them over. And in one of those pairings is Shea Theodore and Alex Pietrangelo, and it's really fun to watch them on the ice together. And Braden McNabb had a from Davidson, Saskatchewan. Your fans will know who that is. He had a really good weekend as well. And Chandler Stevenson. Boy, Chandler's playing in between Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty, and Chandler can absolutely fly. Max Pacioretty says he's the fastest player he's ever played with. And there's kind of a metamorphosis going on for Chandler. You know, he was such a good, complete player in junior hockey. Then he got to the NHL and he ends up in the Capitals system, and you know, their top 6 was pretty crowded. So he ends up in the bottom 6 and sometimes on the 4th line. And, you know, we just talked about how Anaheim didn't try anything offensively. Most 4th lines, they have a pretty, you know, strict rule of things they're supposed to do and things they're not allowed to do. And thinking offensively and creatively is part of that. Well, now he's playing in the middle on the top line in Vegas on a Stanley Cup contender. Well, you better be creative. And he's, I think we're starting to see him in his mind click from being a defense-only guy to being a guy who can think offensively. And it'll be interesting to see how far he can go this year.
He was a defensive guy in junior. I did the games on TV, and I remember when he had braces. So I'm always looking at his teeth when I see him play with you guys. It was a great investment by his parents, and I love him. And, you know, Gary, this is not a shock to you. I mention it with you every time we visit. The amount of Golden Knights fans up here is unbelievable. 2 Sask kids, 5 Manitobans, including Zach Whitecloud. And I mentioned 4 Winnipeg kids in your lineup the other night with Keegan Kolazar, Cody Glass, Mark Stone, and Ryan Reeves. People in Winnipeg took that as a shot that I pointed that out. I'm like, it's not a shot, it's an observation. But why do you think that? I mean, it was planned.
It's interesting. I think that Vegas would be, you know, kind of like a second team to a lot of Winnipeggers when you see all of the Manitoba content in the lineup, except for the fact that they had a really good team in 17-18, and I think that they thought they had a shot at winning the Stanley Cup until they ran into Vegas. And I think that there's a rivalry. I think there's a rivalry. I think that they look at the Golden Knights and go, those guys got in our way. We don't like them. Despite the fact that, you know, Kelly McCrimmon, although from Plenty, Saskatchewan, has made his home in Brandon for an awfully long time. And obviously, as you know, had his association with the Wheat Kings for decades. And then, you know, Shane Knighty is from Neepawa. And then, you know, Von Karpen is the director of pro scouting. He's from Flin Flon. You just go through the organization. There's Manitobans all over the place. So I think there would be good reason for Manitoba to like the Vegas Golden Knights, except for the fact that they knocked them out in 5 in the spring of 2018.
Good reason to dislike them for that reason. Okay, I could talk to you all day with my questions, Gary, but I'm going to go to the board. The viewers want to. Great. Yeah, of course. The good questions come out now. They want to know, the Oilers need a goalie. What are the chances of Marc-Andre Fleury? What's it going to take to get Marc-Andre Fleury off the Golden Knights?
We'll take Draisaitl. That'll be a fair deal. No, I have no idea. I have no... Marc-Andre Fleury was fantastic on Saturday night, and the competitive advantage that the Golden Knights have right now by having a rotation that consists of Robin Lehner on one night and Marc-Andre Fleury on the next, there's a couple of things. In the West Division, you play every series is a back-to-back. So you play 2 against Anaheim. Now they actually have 4 in a row against Arizona. Then they have 2 against St. Louis, and it's sets of 2 throughout the whole year. Well, you play Robin Lehner in the opener, and the team gets used to, you know, okay, he's a big guy. Well, this is how we're going to have to beat him. And then 2 nights later, they come back with Marc-Andre Fleury, who has a completely different style. So it kind of, you know, it's like having a lefty and a righty in your rotation that you can go back and forth with in baseball. So it confuses the batting order to a certain extent. Plus, they're both elite. So, I don't think Vegas has any interest in helping out Edmonton. That would not surprise me if Vegas was to win the West and Edmonton was to win the North. I'm not predicting that. Montreal is my favorite team in the North. I think that they have a really good chance of winning it, but no one should be surprised if it's Edmonton. And I don't think Vegas would want to play Marc-Andre Fleury in the Western Conference Final. To me, that would be very little interest in that, unless the return. And again, I don't think I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't. But if the return is such that it blows you away, well, then that's professional sport.
So the answer is he's not for sale, basically.
I'm not if I'm calling the shots. That's for sure.
Yeah. One of our viewers watching from Dallas, Texas, USA, Jeffy Capiti. Welcome, Jeffy. Glad to have you aboard. Nelson Hackowicz. Can you guys put up the question from Nelson? He's one of the biggest Golden Knights fans that I know. And while you're finding that question, how about those gold unis the other night, Gary? That's a lot of gold on the ice at one time.
Live, it looks tremendous. I don't know how it translates to the television set. And I can't wait to have the building, T-Mobile Arena, full with 18,000 plus, all in their gold, and the players all in their gold. It will look, it'll be something else. I was asked to put the gold jerseys the other night, and I said, well, they certainly aren't the Cleveland Browns, that's for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, Nelson's question was about the future for Marc-Andre Fleury. I mean, is it as talked about as much down there as it is up here? Because it's talked about every day, Gary, where Marc-Andre Fleury. Shoot, I had Gus Farrat on the air the other day, and he talked about Marc-Andre Fleury because he's a Penguins fan. He's like, why'd you take him from us if you aren't going to use him? Like, it's a huge topic, buddy.
He's played a ton, okay? Like they acquired a goalie last year at the deadline, and the head coach made his decision in the playoffs. But, to me, it's an open competition right now. I think that both guys are elite, and this is a condensed season. You saw what Montreal did, going out and hiring and acquiring Jake Allen to help out with Carey Price. It just, to me, it's a huge advantage for the Golden Knights. And what's Marc-Andre Fleury's future? He'll probably be playing on Wednesday night. That's his future.
Right. I'll get to the comment from Trenton, Norway. Hang on a second. My last one for you, Gary, is about with the new coach, Peter DeBoer. Well, new, because I think it's about a year to the day almost that he took over there. What's the style going to be?
What do you mean? Sorry, say that again.
I'm just saying, what's the style going to be? Is it going to be run and gun? Is it going to be shut down defensively? Do you want to push the pace, or you can just play whatever style you want? What's the identity going to be under Peter DeBoer? Have you found it yet?
Well, for sure. And it is really heavy on the forecheck. Get out of the zone quickly, activate the D, get them involved in the offensive zone. We want to play in the offensive zone just like everybody else does. But and I also think that, we want to dictate the pace and how the team plays. The other night, Anaheim, for big stretches of the game, they were able to do what they wanted to do. So playing with the lead is important for Vegas, and as much as they can do that, they will.
Producer Quack wants to know, was it a difficult decision to make Mark Stone captain, and what is it about Stone's leadership that earned him the C?
I don't think it was difficult at all. And I recall a conversation that I had with Ryan Reeves and Jonathan Marchessault just a couple of weeks after he'd been traded to Vegas, and we were sitting in the room, and we were on the opposite side of the dressing room, and Mark was talking to some media, and I said to Reeves, I know Mark a little bit, but I was curious to see how he was settling in. I said, how's he doing? And he just looked at me and he said, well, he's our captain. I said, what are you talking about? He's been here for 2 weeks. He said, you can't help it. You follow him. He is one of those leaders that whatever he does, you want to follow him. He's a huge team guy. He's happier than anybody when a teammate scores. He wants to win. He does all the little things right. So, Kelly McCrimmon made an interesting comment the other day. He said that putting the C on Mark Stone will actually improve his game. I asked Mark about it, and he said, well, I already put a lot of pressure on myself. But now there's some external pressure in the fact that, I'm supposed to live up to this letter and this responsibility, and that will motivate me even more, I believe. So it's interesting comments there, and I think Mark's a great choice, and I think making Pietrangelo an alternate and Riley Smith the other. I like all those guys and the way they compete and who they are as people. So good choices.
A fantastic Golden Knights update. And Gary, so now you know. They love you up here if you didn't know before. Good luck tonight, and keep in touch, my man.
When do these guys get rolling?
Still the champs until they're not. Thanks, Gary. Gary Lawless in Vegas, Golden Knights Insider. You can follow all their stuff at the Golden Knights website or follow him on Twitter at Gary Lawless. Can you remember this comment? Nelson Hackowicz says a goaltender controversy is to hockey what a quarterback controversy is to football. It is, but there are differences. We'll talk about that. We got a sports update coming up on the way from Sportsnet's Fantasy Football and DraftKings, Andy McNamara to talk about the Browns and where do they go from here. And Braden Muscoi from the famed Team Dunstone. We'll be back. It is episode 402 of Canada's daytime sports talk show. You're watching on Game Plus Television, live daily on YouTube, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You need to adapt and you need to move forward. You can't be stuck in 1920. Direct West is on the top of their game. They know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when you work with Direct West, things are good. There's no going backwards, they're moving forward. My business would not be where it is today without the help of Direct West to help me with my website and my Facebook and all my online presence. I've worked with Direct West for about 10 years, and it's been a great experience.
Hey, it's Warren Dean. I understand more than anyone how changing weather affects your day, and that's no different for your vehicle. That's why I look to the experts at Suds Full Service Car Wash. They have a wide range of exterior washes, including Lava Shield with Towel Dry. Looking good, Natalie and Kirby. And don't forget their famous Suds Ultimate. Thoroughly cleans the interior of your car. Open Monday to Saturday. No appointment necessary. Head to Suds Full Service Car Wash today, where they treat you like family.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Go down to the bottom of your screen, please, if you don't mind, and click share. If you're watching on Twitter, please give us a retweet. Whatever it is. We're going to national television at the top of the hour. And don't forget, come February 1st, the show will start airing at 11 a.m. Central. And we'll be live daily on Game Plus for 2 hours. Sports update, LA Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley. Hang on. Do you want to go get the phone?
Yeah.
Now that we have a minute?
I'll go get it.
See if it's got enough of a charge on it. LA Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley gets to stay in Los Angeles, but as head coach of the other LA-based NFL team. Staley will become the Chargers' new head coach, pairing him with young quarterback Justin Herbert. Staley will replace former coach Anthony Lynn, who was fired 2 weeks ago. Julius Randle had 20 points with 12 rebounds, while R.J. Barrett added 19 points and 11 rebounds as the New York Knicks beat the Celtics last night. The Knicks snapped a 5-game slide in the process. Next, we'll meet the Orlando Magic in their next game. From being a potential healthy scratch to scoring a milestone goal, Florida Panthers defenseman Keith Yandle scored his 100th career goal while extending his Ironman streak to 867 consecutive games played in a 5-2 Panthers win over Chicago Sunday night. Doug Jarvis holds the record for most consecutive NHL games played at 964. Kevin Na captured his first ever PGA Tour title with a win at the Sony Open in Hawaii earlier Sunday. Na shot a 5-under par in his final round to win the tournament. Abbotsford's Nick Taylor finished in a 3-way tie for 11th at 17 under. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room. They can handle all your food and fun needs. Open daily at 4 p.m. right in the heart of the Dewdney Strip. Open Fridays for lunch. Visit their website at ballersrecroom.com. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings.
We're going to Ballers on Saturday.
Awesome.
For the McGregor fight. And they got limited tables. And I knew it was going to come up at some point during the week. But I don't know if they've got any left. But
we're going.
We're going, so there might be a chance to sneak in a final table or something if somebody wants to go.
Good show.
Yeah.
So on Nelson's assertion that goalie controversies are akin to football controversies, quarterback controversies, they are. But I've spent so much time studying this, and here's what my conclusion is. There is no answer. There's no one sure track. Like, you probably want 2 goalies, but it didn't necessarily work out for Vegas last year. And when you look at Tampa Bay, Andre Vasilevsky played every minute of every game on the way to winning the Stanley Cup. So I know you hate when I say it, but there are more than one way to skin a cat.
I don't hate it. I just don't want the call from PETA.
What would you do if you got it?
I know, right?
It's just a figure of speech.
I would.
And they still, anyways, there's just no one hard and fast way to do it. The Edmonton Oilers went into the year thinking that they had 2 with Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith, and now one's on long-term injured reserve, injured list, and now they only got 1, and he's not playing very well. Would be kind of nice if he had 2, like Marc-Andre, Fleury, and Robin Lehner, but I always go back to the Tampa Bay thing. They didn't need 2. When you got 1 that stays healthy, and are you going to commit X amount of dollars to 2? Holy. Now, I probably would do that. Like what Vegas is doing, I get. But you've heard that long adage, if you've got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have 1.
Yeah.
That's just a football saying. Again, the Eagles from 3 years ago point out that that's the ideal scenario. If you can make it work. Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, they won a Super Bowl with it.
Yeah.
That's what the Golden Knights are trying to do. But in the meantime, I can't see you. In the meantime, how much carnage is caused?
I know. It's a lot. And the controversies are never a good thing. You know, in hockey, in the playoffs, it's different. But in football, in an ideal world, you don't see the backup. Outside of the preseason, you don't see him. And in New England, you didn't even know who the backup was, right? For all those years with Tom Brady. Played every snap, every down, every game. He played, from the end of the preseason on. In the NHL, your backup goalie is going to play 20 to 30 times a year, right? So you at least know he's going to play. So he plays a little bit of a role. But yeah, the controversy is never a good thing. In football, at least, your guy can come off the bench and win you a game. In hockey, your backup goalie is not usually coming off the bench to win you a game. He's coming off the bench to stop the bleeding, right? And your guy's got to go out and win the game. So there's a little different, but yeah, the controversy is never a good thing. And as much as you can say that, you know what, as long as you're good, and it's true, as long as you're good in your locker room and the relationship's okay in your locker room, you're good, no matter what is happening outside. But the louder the controversy gets outside, eventually you have to think it starts creeping in.
You can text us your thoughts. I want to hear from the viewers today, 306-840-8777, or listeners that are listening at Listen Live. That's 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SAS telemobility dealer. I do like to go to the guidance of the legends in areas like this. Wally Buono said it 20 years ago, and I never forgot. He said, in hockey, when you pull the goalie, switch goalies, the team gets a life. In football, when you switch a quarterback, the whole team dies. You can mull that over for a while.
Yeah.
But if Wally's saying it, probably true. To some of the viewers, Roger Yee says, "Morning, Rod Squad. Checking in from Calgary. 2 things. 1, damn you and thank you for getting me hooked on Yellowstone. 2, please wish our mutual friend Randy Merkley a happy birthday today." Roger, you just did. The great Merks, former voice of the Moose Jaw Warriors. Happy birthday, Merks. Great family. Philip Gross watching in Saskatoon. David Ayers. I want to know who that guy is going to be this year. It's going to happen. The Zamboni driver that's pressed into service on an emergency basis and beats the Toronto Maple Leafs? It's going to happen this year? That's a once-in-a-lifetime situation. It's like Halley's Comet at the very least, isn't it?
Kind of. It is. You know, who's going to be that story? Maybe, you know, in terms of who's going to be that feel-good story that comes out of nowhere, out of left field.
A backup.
I don't know that it's going to be a backup. I don't know that it's going to be an emergency goaltender thrust into duty, especially with the extended taxi squads and things like that. But there will be a good story that comes out of it, I think. There usually
We're still waiting on it.
Still waiting on it, though.
Boy, am I asking too much, guys, to find the comment from Trent in Norway? Or maybe, wow, you were ready. Trent in Norway says, "Norway calling. Family errands kept me away until now. I still stand by Green Bay and Kansas City for the Super Bowl, but Buffalo will give KC a run. As for Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay will handle the cold better than the rest of the Bucs, even though TB12 has the track record. Does Big Hill's pay cut mean Solomon Elimimian has a harder time with a pay cut too? Stay well, everyone." Woo! All the way over in Norway. They've heard that Solomon Elimimian's getting some pressure to sign a far lower deal. Or has that been reported? Because I hear the underground, and then there's what's being reported. Sometimes I have a tough time separating which is which.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Jeff in Winnipeg says the janitor who cleans stalls will be the next great e-bug. We haven't even heard the term e-bug. We've been busy with social distancing and Zoom calls and herd immunity. We forgot about e-bug.
I know.
Emergency backup goalie.
Let's drop that from the vernacular for a while, okay?
Okay.
Still have nightmares about that.
We will be right back with Viewer Takeover. Hang on. It's the RP Show, Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150 Explorer or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
This right here is time well spent. Why not pour yourself a smooth Saskatchewan-made Original 16? Warm up to the opportunity to seize the day.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
Building a deeper connection with our fans by putting them in the show. It's a new era of sports talk. The Rod Pedersen Show airs from 10 to noon, Monday to Friday on Facebook Live. Join the conversation today and tune in. Online, on your phone, at home, at work. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And subscribe on YouTube for all the content you want to watch. Don't wait. Do it right now. Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. Talking hockey, talking football, whatever comes to mind. I had said, I could have sworn that I saw Chris Jones on the sidelines of the Cleveland Browns yesterday. Somebody just texted me and said, you got bad info, he wasn't there. I'm like, nobody told me that he was there. I mean, granted, they're all covered up. I could have sworn I saw Chris Jones on the sidelines. I only saw him thousands of times on the sidelines at practice. Guess he wasn't there. I still don't believe the Browns are going to fire him. Do you think so?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't know.
They've had such a successful season. I can't imagine. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of turnover in Cleveland. I just can't imagine that there would be that much turnover.
You had some comments from YouTube you wanted to read?
Well, there's a few in here. Mm-hmm. Our friend Tristan's watching on YouTube.
Yep.
And he says that he thinks the Green Bay Packers are going to win the Super Bowl. So referring to our comments earlier in the show, so that's nice. Jason Wall was loving Gary Lawless. He says in all caps, Lawless with 3 exclamation marks. Nice W hoodie. And Trent's watching. He says he hopes the CFL makes it. So that was on the heels of that conversation with Gary Lawless. So they're dialed in on YouTube this morning.
Yeah, cool. We're still 400 episodes in trying to sort out which platforms are best to be on and when and so forth, but YouTube seems to be quite popular.
Yeah.
Going to the comments here, Joe in Long Island says all of Long Island held their breath when Semyon Varlamov got hit in the throat during warm-ups on Saturday. If you can afford 2 good goalies, keep them. Really good point there too. And by the way, Joe, I did look into it. If you want Game Plus on your television set in New York City, Altus Cable has it. So I know he particularly is a fan of Facebook, but just saying, if you want it on your cable, it is available in New York City. What else do we have going on? The one thing I noticed this weekend, I don't know where you are with your partner, but here's where I am with mine. I could very easily sit and watch 6 hours of football, 6, 7, 8 hours of hockey on a daily basis, and I would be just fine. But I can't do that. I'm not that selfish. So I have to sit down and budget which games I want to watch, which is actually a good thing because it's got me on top of each league and when the games start and so forth. It seemed like everybody on Saturday night was watching NFL playoffs and the Leafs. And I had flipped over and I was watching Golden Knights and Sam Steele with the Anaheim Ducks. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
There's just so much out there.
I know. And, she doesn't say it. So I could watch 6 hours of football, and she'll watch it with me, which is great. But I feel guilty, too, because she won't say if she wants to change it. So I'll always suggest, hey, let's throw on Netflix after, I'll take my 3 hours or 4 hours of football, and then we'll go to an hour or 2 of Netflix, and then maybe go back.
You're really starting to think about Yellowstone, aren't you?
Yeah, we got to get through the one with Bryan Cranston first, Your Honor.
Your Honor, yeah.
Because it's really intense. And I don't want to start another one that's intense. So we're trying to wrap that up quick so we can get to Yellowstone.
It's funny, John Ohm in Winnipeg. He says, how about them Raptors? 2 wins in a row. Are they playing? The NHL's going. Janelle says, I haven't seen my partner in over 48 hours due to golf, NFL, and NHL. That's what I'm saying. Don't forget about the other leagues. But we've certainly got more than enough to watch right now. It's a buffet. Coming up next hour, Andy McNamara from Sportsnet's Fantasy Football, presented by DraftKings. And also Braden Muscoe of Team Dunstone. That's all coming up. Catch us on Game Plus or keep it right here on whatever channel you're watching on.
That Facebook Live comment is contractually binding, just so you know.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Hey, it's Warren Dean. I understand more than anyone how changing weather affects your day, and that's no different for your vehicle. That's why I look to the experts at Suds Full Service Car Wash. They have a wide range of exterior washes, including Lava Shield with Towel Dry. Looking good, Natalie and Kirby. And don't forget their famous Suds Ultimate. Thoroughly cleans the interior of your car. Open Monday to Saturday. No appointment necessary. Head to Suds Full Service Car Wash today, where they treat you like family.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
Now,
The Stars offered me box seats, luxury box suites for Game 7? I think it was Game 6. And I said, hey, Stanley Cup could get handed out tonight. I've always wanted to be in the building when the Stanley Cup gets handed out. And she said, we came down here for George Strait. We're going to George Strait.
How about that?
So I walked out of Cowboys Stadium, and I'm like, hey, who won the Stars game? Who won the Stars game? It's Dallas in 2000. No, the who, the what? And I'm like, this wouldn't have happened in Winnipeg. They know.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
That's right, a great NHL city, Winnipeg. Great city overall. Welcome, everybody, to a brand new week. It's the RP Show, episode number 402 of Canada's daytime sports talk show is on the air. And we're coming to you live from the bunker out here in Western Canada with a ton of things to talk about. RP here and my sidekick, Darren Moose Dupont over there. How are you?
I'm good.
It feels like forever since I've seen you.
It has been a while.
Yeah, since Friday.
I know.
I went and got my haircut on Friday, and the nice lady who was cutting my hair, she's like, your partner? She's from Vietnamese, by the way. She's like, your partner, the one with long hair? That's what she said.
Speaking of
she wants to get her hands on your hair, I think.
I know. Speaking of people going to, wanting to get hands on the hair, I got coffee with Kirby this week. I know we talked about that, so I'm excited. Looking forward
From Suds Full Service Car Wash. She said, get Darren down here. I want to see that hair in person.
Yeah.
I want to meet that hair. So,
World tour starting.
Lots of fun planned this hour on the RP Show. We will be joined by Andy McNamara from Sportsnet's fantasy football program. And he is presented by DraftKings. We'll talk about what happened with the Cleveland Browns yesterday. He hosts Canada's foremost Cleveland Browns podcast. And also Braden Muscoe will be joining us from Team Dunstone, Saskatchewan's rep at the Briar, coming up just next month. Feels like that snuck up on us, but probably not to the curling community. So that will have ramifications from coast to coast. But Jordan, let's jump in on the Quick Six show topics, please. What do you say? So many things to talk about coming out of a very busy weekend. NFL playoffs. I'll start with the National Football Conference. Here are your results from the weekend. You saw Sunday night in the featured game for me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the New Orleans Saints 30-20. That was an upset classified by the odds makers who had the Saints favored by 3. My take on that was that the Saints simply made more mistakes than the Buccaneers did. Because how many drops did Gronk have in the game?
Oh, I know.
2 huge ones for sure.
Yeah.
But they still won, which tells me, Tampa Bay must be a very good team, because if you're making mistakes in the playoffs and still winning against good teams, you must be pretty darn good.
You must be pretty good. Look at the throw Brady made to Godwin at the end of the end zone. And he's made those catches before, just couldn't come up with it. So, you know, the stats weren't there, but he was still making big throws around the field. They just weren't coming up with it.
So that was the big upset of the weekend. The other game in the NFC was Green Bay dismantling the Los Angeles Rams 32-18 at Lambeau. And that was not a surprise. So now we're headed to the conference championship. It's going to be a fun week. Tom Brady versus A-Rod, Aaron Rodgers, and what the early line? I think somebody said Packers favored by 3. Do you have any thoughts on that game?
It's projected to be -4 Celsius and snow at Lambeau. So hopefully we get that snow globe that we had for the night game between Tennessee and Green Bay earlier in the year. I think it's going to be outstanding. That's kind of what I projected the line to be at, 3.5 Green Bay. It won't be about who's better. It'll be about who grabs momentum, because both of these teams, when they get rolling, they're hard to stop. And when they start making mistakes, it feels like neither of them really turn things around all that often.
One thing that I like about this quarterback matchup, and clearly I'm a Tom Brady fan. I'm wearing his bunny hug right now, thanks to you, my Christmas gift from the staff here. But with Tom, he wears his heart on his sleeve. That's very evident.
Yeah.
What Tom's feeling, you know, by the look on his face, and he's motivated. He's looking fresh. I would not be betting against Tom Brady this weekend. Whereas Aaron Rodgers, you can never tell what he's thinking. He's the same all the time, and that's been his hallmark of success too, right?
And they've never been playing better than they are in Green Bay right now. Their defense was known as this not kind of soft, not very physical, but they're playing physical now. And Devontae Adams best in the game, right? They're tough. That's going to be a heck of a game.
Point 2 to the AFC playoffs, and the game of the week, as far as I was concerned, if you didn't really have a rooting interest, was the Cleveland-Kansas City game, which had the largest point spread going in, favoring the Chiefs by 10. They ended up winning by 5. Officiating had a hand in that, which we're going to get to. But again, the Kansas City Chiefs have moved on. The question is, what's happening with their quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, who didn't finish the game after having his notes rattled? I was watching the game with my brother-in-law, and he goes, he didn't get hit in the head. And I said, I've been around sports long enough to know that you don't need to get hit in the head. A solid shot right here that rattles your brain inside your melon can give you a concussion, and that seems to have been what happened with Patrick Mahomes. And I'm correcting myself this morning. Write it down. It doesn't happen very often that I have to. I said that Chris Jones had a big part in the Cleveland Browns' victory. I watched him on the sidelines yesterday in the second half. I'm getting a note here from CFL people saying, he wasn't there. You got the wrong guy. Oh, I'm sorry. The little bit of his eyes that were peeking out and looking at his hands, I swore it was Chris Jones, but he wasn't there. And they're saying that Chris Jones probably will be moving on from the Cleveland Browns. A story to watch moving forward. And the other game in the AFC was the Bills routing Baltimore 17-3. And that was, in a way, largely disappointing because I just expected a closer, better game. And it wasn't really good at all. No, I didn't think so anyways. To point 3, because we are a hockey country, NHL weekend notes. Where do we start? I'd rather just look ahead. Tonight's battle at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. The number 1 team in Canada, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Check the spell check on that one.
I know.
The Toronto Maple Leafs, number 1 team in Canada, hosting the only unbeaten team in Canada, the Winnipeg Jets. TSN 3 has it out here in our region, the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL. That's tonight. But if you want to back up, Oilers fans are incensed. Again, it feels like all is just normal in the world. Oilers fans are upset. Leafs fans are planning a parade. Montreal fans are puffing their chests out because they went into Edmonton and had their way with the Oilers, and they're going to try and do it again tonight. I said it an hour ago. I'll say it now. I love the fact that Darren and producer Clark are Leaf fans. I'm not. You can cover the eastern part of the country, Ontario anyways, and then I'll cover. I watch the Golden Knights and I follow the Oilers. And between all of us, we got it all really locked down.
Yeah.
And with Joe Lazito on Long Island, he's got the New York teams covered.
We're in good shape.
We're a perfect team.
Oh, yeah.
You ready to move on from the NHL, or is there anything you wanted to add on that?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to move on to tonight. I can't wait.
Okay, point 4 here in the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Come in and warm up at the Four Seasons. You're home for the NFL. Just on officiating. Let's just remember where we were in the summertime complaining about COVID, and nobody knew if we were ever going to live or die, or if we were going to have a job, if we were going to have any money, if we were going to have to move in with our parents. Remember that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We would have died to hear people complaining about, figuratively, to hear people complain about officiating.
Yeah.
But here we are. And you've got, you've got Browns fans saying, stupid rule! Fumbling at the goal line, giving up possession, and it's a touchback. Dumb rule, needs to be changed. Well, you didn't think that until Sunday. You didn't have a problem with the rule, but when it affected your team, it needs to be changed. And I'll point it out again. Last week, Montreal had a goal against them, against the Leafs, because it went off the referee, and it counted, because that's the rule. Puck goes in off a ref, it counts. Habs fans, incensed. Change the rule! Let's go talk to a Toronto fan, or let's go talk to a Kansas City fan. They don't have a problem with the rules. You notice how the officiating, or if you're like me, and in a lot of these games, you didn't care who won, the officiating gets a lot better. Have you noticed?
Doesn't it? You know, when you really don't put an emphasis on that and you start taking ownership, even when your teams are playing, you know, if you can take ownership that the team lost because the team wasn't good enough. Yeah, breaks here and there, and puck goes off a netting or off a camera and it wasn't seen, or, you know what I mean? Or it gets off a referee, it wasn't called, or this penalty wasn't called. At the end of the day, you lost because you weren't good enough. Once you open that up, that they don't impact your team, it's so much more fun to watch sports.
How about this? Don't fumble at the one.
That too.
And then you don't have to blame the officials or at the cone. Adam Schultz, one of our P1s, writes in and he says, they missed the hit to the head too. Even that's subjective. I mean, Twitter is a wonderful thing to sit there, and if you follow the football players, they're debating it back and forth. Some are saying that's not a hit to the head. Others are saying, what are you talking about? Of course it is, which it just goes back to perspective. And then you watch the night game, and 33 for Tampa Bay got called for lowering his head, and Bruce Arians goes nuts.
I know.
And you just realize this is all black and white. And I'm thinking, 2021, all this technology, and we still can't get the calls right.
You go back to the hit to the head on the 1 yard line when he fumbled it. And I've seen it on Twitter and social media. A lot of people complaining that they missed the hit to the head. And I think, okay, so what? Like, the fact that, like, the amount that would have impacted the game, because they had the first down to the 1 yard line. So they call a hit to the head, they throw the flag, and they put the ball on the 1 yard line with the first down. Like, it literally would not have changed the game at all. But yet we just want to point out the mistake and say that they missed it just to be angry.
Right.
It's just
so
it's no good.
My point is, I'm already nauseated by this discussion. Yet it's a lot better than talking about the Rona or Donald Trump or Justin Trudeau. Point 5, funding for junior hockey. It was hella big news on Friday that this province's government's giving $4 million to its junior hockey teams. Still not entirely clear what it's for. Is it just to keep the lights on and so your staff can feed themselves, or is it to get back onto the ice? As we sit here today, we still don't really know what it's for.
Right.
Are they going to play or are they not getting to play? But at least bravo to the government of this province doing it. And then you knew wouldn't be long before other leagues were doing the same, and that's exactly what happened. And in beautiful British Columbia, the junior teams put a proposal to the government, and the government said, hang on, we don't have money for you right now, but sports is a vital, what was the quote? I wrote it down. Sports is a vital part of the community's healing once the pandemic is over. And God knows when that'll be. But I've just said, at least we can agree on something on the importance of sports to the local economy, the civic pride, the mental health of the fans and the players. At least it was acknowledged that it was important for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Is my point.
It's a part of the community, and I like that, acknowledging that, we can't sit here and just earmark this money for return to play. This is money that says, we value you. We hope that this is going to help your business stay afloat and just make sure that the teams are around, because when you're allowed to play, we're really going to need you to be here. So make sure that you're ready when you're allowed to play.
Point 6, some CFL news. It's an interesting time in the CFL because there's only a handful of media that are actually covering what's going on. I mean, the teams are sending out their news releases of restructured deals, but we don't know by how much. So you get the odd scrap thrown at you from Farhan Lalji, a little bit from David Naylor, and a lot from 3downnation.com, who's doing the biggest digging in the corners. But Adam Bighill in Winnipeg takes a $145,000 pay cut. And obviously we've had him on this show. We're huge fans of Adam Bighill, going back to his days with the BC Lions. And he wrote an essay at the Blue Bombers website saying how much he loves the city. Make no mistake, huge blow to his family. They're building a house in Winnipeg. They plan to stay there post-career. And now the ball's over in the court of Charleston Hughes, and I went back and read the article from 3 Down Nation. Solomon Elamimian and Ed Gainey and Charleston Hughes have been proposed similar whopping pay cuts by the Saskatchewan Roughriders as to what the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have swallowed. And I think, on one hand, you want to just leave the CFL alone and go talk NFL and NHL, because as one agent texted me on the weekend, it's just pay cut after pay cut after pay cut every day. It's very negative and volatile on the CFL right now. So you kind of just want to say, you guys figured out we'll be over here. But on the other side, you want to report to the fans what's going on. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where I said people are edgy, Jack in Alberta wrote in and said, leave Charleston alone. Let him make his own decisions. Hey, we are. What do you want us to do? Not talk about it? I'm kind of conflicted and confused as to what we're supposed to do covering the CFL right now. You word things better than me. What's your summation of all that?
It is. It's really tough. We don't know what we're supposed to do, because you don't want to speak negatively about the league that we love, because that doesn't look good. But yet they're not talking or giving us any information, so we can't really talk positively about it because we don't know if anything positive is happening. All we can talk about is what's happening, and they're being asked to take pay cuts, and salary structure, and there's rumors that Charleston might go somewhere else, so we need to talk about it. And when you've said it last hour, when you get in and step into that limelight and you want to be a professional athlete, then this is part of the job that comes along with it. People watching literally your every move and debating, every step that you take, contracts, plays, you name it. So,
and in most cases, you didn't even sign up for it. By becoming an athlete, you already have a public life. Doesn't make it right, but that's the way that it is. There was a big debate last week, or whenever PK Subban and Lindsey Vonn broke up, where everywhere you looked on both their social media, they're skiing, they're doing this, they're smiling, right? They're influencers.
Yeah.
And then they break up, and they both want privacy.
Good luck.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So we're going to debate what Charleston Hughes does and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, because that is pro sports. But I guess lastly, before we break and bring in Andy McNamara to talk a little Browns, do you think that that they could whack salaries in the CFL so much to a point that they could play without fans?
I hope so.
You think that's a way that they could do it?
I hope so. It leads me to believe that that's what's happening. I mean, if they're going to play with fans and they're only going to play with fans, then why do you need to whack the salaries if you're expecting to have the same revenues back and everything else? Don't ask the players to take salaries just to pay for the debts you incurred from not playing for a year, right? Don't ask the players to pay that bill. But if you're going to play with empty stands, then be honest with the players and say, look, we'd love you to take a pay cut, because here's what we're thinking. We're going to try to play here without fans. And when the fans come back next year or in 2023, your salary will go back up to where it's more appropriate. But hey, let's work on this together. You take a little hit. We're going to play without fans and commit to playing. I think everybody can get behind that. but we're only seeing the players taking pay cuts. We're not seeing the league come out and say, we're doing this because we want to play with no fans.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
We're missing that side of the conversation.
Our poll question today is, for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, should the Scotia North Division continue after this year? My Lord, we could spend an hour debating that. I say no for a variety of reasons. The biggest one is the time zone and the travel and the wear and tear on the players. But it's become evident, and the reaction from our viewers is that that's the only reason that they might not consider keeping the All-Canadian division moving forth. The ratings are great. You got the Jets and the Leafs tonight, and what for all the marbles for just tonight. Tomorrow there will be another huge matchup.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Is it good for only 1 year, or should we keep it past this year? 66% of people saying no. It should not continue past this year, so we'll continue on with that. We'll be right back. Sports update coming up. Andy McNamara to talk Browns from Sportsnet's fantasy football program. We'll be right back. You're watching on Game Plus TV, Facebook, live, daily on YouTube, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150 Explorer or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends. time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Welcome back, everybody. Just want to tell you the Prairie Mobile text line is open for the viewer takeover comment later in the day. 306-840-8777 if you want to weigh in on any of our topics today. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer. Let's go out on video chat today and join Andy McNamara, host of Sportsnet's fantasy football programming and host of the Browns podcast. Andy, how you doing today, my friend? Did you think the impossible was going to happen?
Oh, Rod, I did. It was Patrick Mahomes goes out, and all you got to do is stop Chad Henne, who hadn't played in like 4 or 5 years. Dude runs for 14. They convert a 4th and 1, and it was just enough, Rod, just typical Browns fashion, just enough to make me believe that moment, and it pulled it away. It was tough, but what a heck of a ride, man. That was a fun season. Nobody expected you to win. And you almost did. The building blocks are there for the Cleveland Browns, that's for sure.
Well, I would say that you're Canada's foremost Browns insider, so please tell me the reason for the turnaround, because it appears to be simply Kevin Stefanski and his staff. Is it more to it than that? And if so, maybe he should be Coach of the Year.
First of all, I think, yes, without a shadow of a doubt, take my Browns fandom away. There is no doubt. You take this team, this franchise, which has been just wandering the desert since they returned in 1999, one playoff appearance. You've seen all the graphics, folks, right? 18 years that hadn't won in Pittsburgh in 17. You make the playoffs. You win against your arch rival. You make Chase Claypool into a crazy internet troll. And then you go and you almost beat the defending Super Bowl champs. By the way, you also discovered along the way this season that you got your franchise quarterback in Baker Mayfield. So I think it's a combination of finally the Browns front office and coaching staff being in synergy. Because for so long, it had been coach would get fired, the GM wouldn't be able to hire his guy, vice versa. And it was always infighting. There's no infighting. Everybody's on the same page. And that system for Baker Mayfield, the reason I'm so optimistic is because all this success was done in a COVID-shortened season. No off season, no proper way to learn the system. He learned on the way. Give me a normal full offseason with Baker Mayfield, and I think this team can be the best in the AFC North and make some noise next year for sure in the playoffs.
So that would coincide with the Steelers' slide. Like you're hearing reports that maybe Ben Roethlisberger retiring. What are you hearing out of the Steel Curtain?
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of whining, and it feels so good, Rod. But I'll tell you that. As Browns fans, we've had to eat it for 20 years. Come on, but we have to think about this from the Steelers' side of it. Okay, you got Ben Roethlisberger, who for the most part, let's not forget, this team started 11-0. You can say easy schedule, whatever, but bottom line, National Football League, it's hard to win, and you went 11-0. Full credit. But that elbow, that surgically repaired elbow, got worn down, and you just saw them having to change Ben's game a lot, the dinking and dunking. And while his arm strength is still better than, let's say, a Drew Brees, we see at the end of the line, at some point, you're going to have to make a move. Now, for the Steelers, it's even worse because you got a massive cap hit. Ben Roethlisberger is on the line for $41 million next year. So what do? Do you try to restructure, bring him back one more year? Does he want to? If you don't, you did too well to get one of the top quarterbacks. You're going to trot out Mason Rudolph? Okay. There's the pieces are there. The defense is strong. You got weapons at wide receiver. But the quarterback situation is very iffy. And I would say that Ben Roethlisberger, my hunch would be that he will come back, but they better start getting a plan B because it's not Mason Rudolph. And it's clearly a decline. And it might be a bit of a holding pattern for the Steelers where they can't get their quarterback or what they want this offseason. And they got to sort of hold pat and then see how things develop from there.
Andy, I see the Leafs. Is it a pillow over your shoulder? I'm going to get to tonight's game in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I can't. I just got to say this, man. I have dabbled in fantasy football, and now with sports betting, we've got a big partner here with Come On Official. I can't believe, I'll call it a tax on the willing. It's not going away. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's making me wonder, is there ever an end in sight? How big can it get? What is with the popularity of fantasy, and maybe not even fantasy, but also betting, props, and the games themselves? What is it?
Oh, absolutely, Rod. Well, the thing is, it makes, and especially I think maybe in Canada where there isn't a home team per se. It's not like the Raptors or Blue Jays where they're Canada's team and people can rally around it. People have either legacy teams from their fathers, grandfathers that they followed, teams they just like, whatever the case might be. And the betting and fantasy side really makes it interesting. And the NFL is special in that regard because it's only once a week that a team will play. Now, you got games Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays, but for the most part, it's not like in baseball, let's say, where in a normal year, well, if you miss a Tuesday game, you still have 100 others to worry about, or hockey or basketball. Every game in the NFL matters, and it's an event. And so when you look at the gambling side of it and the fantasy football side of it, it's a case where you can plan out farther ahead. You can get more in-depth strategy-wise because there's not the quick turnaround. And so for like DraftKings, for example, you got the conference championship games coming up this week where you can play a couple of different style of games. You can do a head-to-head showdown contest where you pick a captain. And it's a strategy here, Rod's crazy, where it's like you pay 1.5 times the salary of a $50K salary cap for 1.5 times the points. Or you can play the 4 teams going head-to-head together and what position group makes the most sense. So I think a lot of it is the strategy and gives people just an extra reason to watch. And that's the same on the betting side with all the props too.
Yeah. So with the Leafs-Jets tonight, I mentioned on Twitter or somewhere that it was, the Leafs are the number 1 team in Canada. Jets fans immediately were on me. But there's only one unbeaten team in Canada, the Winnipeg Jets. And it's like our poll question today is, should the Scotia North Division stay past this year? Because, Andy, you could make a reason every single night for why this game is the biggest game of the year. And this Jets-Toronto game tonight is just like it's massive.
It's true. It's true. And especially in this whole NHL season where you're playing, 26 less games, if my math is right, than a typical year? And you're playing each other a lot more because it's the silo division. So one of the storylines I'm looking at for this whole year, Rod, is, okay, when you play a team more and more and more, no matter what the skill level, how do the rivalries develop? How do teams get used to and game plan differently than in any other year? And also the patience level from both teams, right? And all the teams really, of if a guy's in a slump, normal season forwards in a 2-week slump, all right, he'll get out of it. Well, 2 weeks is a lot more precious. What if a goaltender slide? When do you make that decision to pull? Because time is limited. You have less opportunity, and every win is that much more crucial, which is why in tonight's game, you got the top 4 making it. It's going to come down to tiebreakers. It might come down to when we look back, hey, you know what? This game in January really did make a difference. It's I can't wait for tonight. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Me either. So do you think it should stay past this year?
I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be good. Like in a normal NHL season, as long as we can still start playing other teams again. I don't necessarily want to be seeing the Ottawa Senators 14 times a year. That's a little much, If we can divvy it up a little bit, but I like the Canadian division angle of it, the North Division sponsor, whatever you want to call it. But like that standpoint where how often have we said, oh, we want more Canadian rivalries, we want that, and it just depending on conference, whatever doesn't work out. Now you could have that. And so if you can keep it and then, you spread it out and still play other teams, I say, why not? Like the rivalries, the passion that's already so high for the NHL in Canada would only get turned up how many notches, right?
Exactly.
I think it'd be really good.
Stampeders fan in Calgary, Jeff, wants to know, here's the quote of his question. Does this guy follow the CFL at all? Do you want to talk about your history with the CFL and if you're still following it as closely as when you were the voice of a team?
Do I follow the same? I got a Grey Cup football right there, baby. So maybe a little off screen. Boom, right there. Got that one. Absolutely. I was play-by-play voice of the Hamilton Tiger Cats on the radio side, Argos sideline reporter, national CFL show. You get out of it a little bit, Rod, because the season was canceled last year, so you don't necessarily follow it as closely this past off season. I can't wait for the league to start up again. Yeah, let's see how the analysis going forward after a year off, because we're now looking back. Okay, how did a team do not last season, 2 seasons ago? How does that carry forward? What's the turnover like? What are these players like who really haven't played ball in a year? You can keep in shape. Like, Rod, we know this, right? You can keep in as good a shape as you want, but there's no substitute for football shape. What are the injury situations like? How do guys come back or don't? Like this CFL season, I think is going to be really interesting. Just see how things play out, and if certain teams start off slower than expected, whatever, because it's going to be a lot of projections based on really 2-year-old information.
And we'll end it on this, if I may. I think the NLL might be your favorite, or at least your guilty pleasure, if not your favorite, similar to mine. But I don't get a lot of questions about their 2021 season. What do you know about the NLL coming back?
Yeah, well, it's going to be hopeful, and fingers crossed, people can get back in arenas and all that. But the NLL season, which typically would already be underway, usually starts in late December, is going to be starting in April this year. And so that's the plan right now. They got a revamped website. Check it out, NLL.com. Stats, we're working on, actually, we talked about sports betting and fantasy, a betting and fantasy side of things for the National Lacrosse League as well. So that's in the works over the next season or two. Just really, Rod, it's the best lacrosse in the world. It's for my money, if I'm looking at it, and I think I've said it on this show before, if you were to pay me same money to do play-by-play for any sport, it would be lacrosse. And I've been doing the Toronto Rock gig for 11 years now, and it's just so much fun. So when it does come back in April, you can track it, NLL.com, the league on all the social media. Give it a shot, because if you haven't, you're missing out.
No doubt. Andy, life looks like it's good for you. You're looking young, refreshed, excited. Thanks for the chat today, my friend, and all the best in 2021.
Oh, absolutely, Rod. Let's do it again soon. Talk to you later.
You betcha. Andy McNamara, and our visit presented by DraftKings. This is a great question from Monty, and I'm going to answer it with your help right after I do a sports update. But Monty wants to know, how much is too much NHL?
Yeah.
Oh,
good question.
What a great question, Monty. That's a good one. But a sports update. Canadian teams will return to NHL action tonight. Winnipeg and Toronto square off in the evening. The Montreal Canadiens and the Edmonton Oilers will renew hostilities after playing each other over the weekend. And Vancouver and Calgary also meet tonight. The Toronto Raptors are playing for a third straight victory this evening. They'll play against the Dallas Mavericks at their temporary home arena in Tampa Bay. The LA Chargers have hired LA Rams defensive coordinator Brandon Staley as their new head coach, who replaces former head coach Anthony Lynn. 21-year-old Roman Sadovsky captured the men's title at the Skate Canada Challenge. The native of Vaughan, Ontario, won the challenge with a final score of 262.01. And Kevin Na captured his 5th ever PGA Tour title with a win at the Sony Open in Hawaii Sunday. Na shot a 5-under par in his final round to win the tourney. BC's Nick Taylor finished in a 3-way tie for 11th at 17 under. The sports update for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, corner of Rochdale and Pasqua. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, RP Show viewers get a 20% off discount with the promo code RP Show. Order yours now at g2gbars.ca. Part of what got us in this mess of the pandemic was as it relates to sports, is the salaries being so high. You're starting to hear that flat caps in the NHL. You're hearing the NFL salary cap going down. You've heard these things.
Oh yeah.
And so with Monty saying how much is too much, it's been more of everything. More NFL, more NHL, more. And the public has an insatiable appetite for it. Right? And it drives the salaries up. It drives the ratings up. That's all good. And then the pandemic hits. I just think that insatiable hunger is what, you know what I mean?
That's what keeps
just
it going.
pushed it over the cliff.
But at some point, you have to resist the urge to add more and to grow.
But nobody does.
Right?
Nobody
does because that's our nature. We want more. We want more. Sometimes you have to find your lane and stay in it and not try and keep pushing the boundaries, right? Because that's when you run into trouble. Running too high for too long. We all need to sleep, right? We all need to find our comfort level.
It leads to a crash.
Right? So I could watch NHL every night. And so could you. And we do. And we love it.
Exactly.
But every night NHL, too much. Every second night NHL, probably too much. The NHL really was at their sweet spot when you were watching games, the average fan, like once to twice per week to sit in and watch an NHL game. So you put it on 2 or 3 nights a week, and that became a lot, right? every night hockey, your ratings per game are going to start to go down. You can't just keep adding more and more and more. You have to leave them wanting a little bit. So it's up to that's their job to find the sweet spot.
It's a fine line, and I know that we got to take a commercial break here, but as the voice of the Rough Riders for 20 years, I knew there was an insatiable appetite. It was once, for information to the Rider Nation, it was once likened to me to feeding a bear. A guy that I knew that worked at a zoo said the more you feed them, there was a lion actually, the more you feed them, the hungrier they get. They never get full. And I'm like, Rider fans are exactly the same. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, personally, I think TSN is far too hockey-centered, but they are just giving what the public demands, right? It's insatiable. But I don't have a problem with the brakes being slammed on and the salaries coming down because it's got too out of control. There's no doubt. But what's killing these other leagues is not what I wanted.
Right.
Who saw that coming?
I know.
I didn't.
No, me either.
So we'll continue with this. Braden Moscoe in next. You're watching the RP show, Game Plus Television, live on YouTube daily, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
You need to adapt and you need to move forward. You can't be stuck in 1920. Direct West is on the top of their game. They know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when you work with Direct West, things are good. There's no going backwards, they're moving forward. My business would not be where it is today without the help of Direct West to help me with my website and my Facebook and all my online presence. I've worked with Direct West for about 10 years, and it's been a great experience.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, Sierra, or Buick Encore GX and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital GMC in Regina.
This right here is time well spent. Why not pour yourself a smooth Saskatchewan-made Original 16? Warm up to the opportunity to seize the day.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Hey, it's Warren Dean. I understand more than anyone how changing weather affects your day, and that's no different for your vehicle. That's why I look to the experts at Suds Full Service Car Wash. They have a wide range of exterior washes, including Lava Shield with Towel Dry. Looking good, Natalie and Kirby. And don't forget their famous Suds Ultimate. Thoroughly cleans the interior of your car. Open Monday to Saturday. No appointment necessary. Head to Suds Full Service Car Wash today, where they treat you like family.
back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
All right, welcome back, everybody. For the curling fans far and wide across the Great White North, you're going to love this one. We welcome Braden Muscoe to the rink from Team Dunstone. How you doing, Braden?
I'm doing great, Roddy.
You should be. You're off to the Briar.
Doing a lot better this week now that I know what's going on.
Yeah, no kidding. So, as I said, you don't just have to be a Saskatchewan curling fan for this story to resonate all across the country. The Briar and the Scotties are next month in the bubble in Calgary, and every province seems to be doing something different. But here in Saskatchewan, Team Dunstone has been anointed, along with Team Anderson, as the provincial reps. And with no small... not backlash necessarily, but there were no provincial playdowns. You were anointed the champions, and incidentally, you're the defending champions, but it didn't really go over quietly.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, rightfully so, I think. I mean, if I was any other team but us, I wouldn't be too happy either. But unfortunately, that's the world we're living in right now, and running a provincial championship with 8, 12 teams didn't matter. It wasn't possible with the restrictions. So, better be lucky than good, I guess, this year for us. That's for sure.
Oh, well, no doubt. And by the way, those that would have been in contention in this province, people would remember Robin Silvernagel from the Scotties, from North Battlefort. She did a concession speech on the women's side. Colton Flash would have been your top competitor. Mm-hmm. He did a concession speech. It was very classy the way that they did it. And for Sask Curl, they were in a no-win. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's such a tough spot to be in. Like, no matter which route you go, you're going to have people that are upset. So I think Curl Sask did a good job. They took their time with it. I think they explored all the options. They were trying to run a bubble. They couldn't get that approved by Sask Health. So at the end of the day, they had no choice left but to put together some criteria and make some selections. So lucky for us and lucky for Sherry's team.
Right. So to move ahead, you literally bounced in here, Braden. I'm not sure you know that. How excited you are to know that you're going back to the Briar for now, what, a third straight year?
Yeah, 2 in a row, I guess. This will be 2 in a row. Lost the final to that damn Kirk Myers a couple years ago, so had to get him on our squad now. But yeah, we're thrilled. It's been, curling. This is what we do. This is our livelihood. We've all kind of dedicated our lives to doing this and trying to chase this crazy Briar dream and goal of ours. So we're just excited. It's a weird feeling when it's something's taken from you that you love and you can't do anymore. And to no fault of your own, it's just taken off the table. So I know we're excited to get back at it, and I know there's a ton of people that are just really craving some curling, and they're going to get a lot of curling for a couple months, so it's going to be pretty exciting.
Well, especially if you win, you're going to get a lot of curling for a couple months. Yeah. I did run into one of your team members I mentioned on the weekend, and they said that if you win all the way out, you're looking at 2 months in the Calgary bubble. And listen, I've talked to the NHL guys, man. It's as hard on your head as it is on your body. Yeah. So what are you doing to get ready for that?
Yeah, it's funny, actually. We just we had a Zoom yesterday afternoon, and that's one of the first things we started talking about is mentally preparing, because it's going to be a unique experience. From what I've heard of the NHL bubble, there wasn't a ton to do, same as the World Junior bubbles for hockey. So I know the Curling Canada has been in cahoots with the CCA, with the NHL, kind of taking what they did in their bubble, and it's going to be very similar. So that's the biggest thing, I think, mentally preparing for probably a lot of downtime in the bubble. It'll be great when we're curling, obviously, but that'll only be a few hours a day. So a lot of Netflix, I guess, and a few games of cards with the boys are on tap.
And hopefully they put in a golf simulator and certain things. I mean, the NHL had that.
Yeah, I don't know if we're running with the same budget as the NHL did in their bubble. I know the NBA had barbershops and whatnot in theirs too, so I don't know if we're getting that full effect. But at the end of the day, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity experience, hopefully. Hopefully they don't need to do this again. So just feel really, really lucky to have the chance to play in it. I know this is something we're going to look back and you're going to say, I played in that Briar, in that bubble, in that pandemic that year, right? Like, it's something you're going to talk about forever. And how cool would it be to win the damn thing?
Well, the one thing is, because the NFL is still playing, they're not in bubbles, but highly stringent protocols, right? That nobody sees. And the thing is, when you mentioned the NHL, we saw the games. We didn't see the other 21 hours a day, right? It's just a sleight of hand. But you guys are high-level, top-end athletes, and obviously you're looking into it already, right?
Yeah.
What's going to help you come out on top of this?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we can't practice leading into the bubble. So, I mean, that's our focus right now, is finding out as much information as we can on it, and just so we can go in prepared. And I mean, that's our next order of business, is trying to find some practice ice, because curling, like hockey, is shut down right now in the province. So we haven't thrown a rock since November. And, there is a few teams across the country that have been able to practice.
Does that concern you?
Yeah, that's a big concern.
Yeah.
Gushu's team's been practicing the whole time. So I think that's our biggest concern for sure, is trying to find some good practice time before we get out there somehow.
Did you see? You must follow Rachel Homan on Instagram. Did you see she built a rink out of the lake?
Yeah, I did. I'm good friends with her, so I was chatting with her about that. It's pretty cool. Actually, there's lots of teams that have been finding their way onto lakes and stuff to do some training, and I mean, it's a cool little photo op, but it doesn't compare to playing on the Briar ice. So
yeah, no kidding.
We need to find some real ice, but if anyone has a rink around, we'd definitely be interested.
Well, maybe you might still end up on Mosaic's ice before all said and done. But I got to say this. I know that you guys were anointed Team Dunstone by acclamation, basically, to represent this province. What do you know about the rest of the field?
Yeah, it's going to be a stacked field.
Were they all the same coming out of their provinces?
Pretty
the same
much.
Way?
It's most of the defending champs, like John Epping, Brad Jacobs. Alberta's announcing today, which will be an interesting one, because Brendan Botcher's technically the defending champion, but Kevin Cooey was Team Canada at the Briar last year, so they technically never lost their Alberta championship. So will be interesting to see what Alberta chooses to do there. But for the most part, across the board, it's been the defending champions.
That's good. So what's between now and the start of the Briar? What do you got going on?
Not a lot. Just like I said, there's not a whole lot we can do. I mean, we're training, off-ice training. We're doing a lot of mental training, that stuff. We're staying in touch with the guys, just doing as much of the little things as we can. But the biggest one is getting the reps in before. So this week will be about trying to work with hopefully the Sask government and see if we can get on the ice at some point before the Briar, or potentially maybe we go to Calgary early and can practice there. I'm not too sure what that looks like just yet.
Well, Braden, I appreciate you coming in. You know we're following very closely. Good luck.
Thanks,
and hopefully I don't see you for months. Just on TV.
Hopefully the next time we're back in here, we got a friend, a tankard that we can bring by and tell some good stories from the bubble.
Braden Muscoe from Team Dunstone. They're headed to the Briar next month in the Calgary bubble. Dupes comes back in here for the overtime segment and viewer takeover next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus Television, live daily on YouTube, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln. We continue to follow strict COVID-19 guidelines, but we've also made it easier than ever to skip the showroom and shop online. Trade up to an all-new 2021 Ford F-150 Explorer or 2020 Ford Escape and get super low payments and super high trade-in values all month long. Plus, shop online or in-store and shop worry-free with our great selection of thoroughly inspected pre-owned vehicles. It's time to trade and upgrade at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Building a deeper connection with our fans by putting them in the show. It's a new era of sports talk. The Rod Pedersen Show airs from 10 to noon, Monday to Friday on Facebook Live. Join the conversation today and tune in. Online, on your phone, at home, at work. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And subscribe on YouTube for all the content you want to watch. Don't wait, do it right now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Viewer Takeover. It's always fun. We got lots of time for it. We're committed to 3 face-offs a week, by the way. Can I just say that?
Sure.
Darren and I, we got to face off 3 times a week for the Ultimate Fan Zone and the Mad Greek Restaurant. And I said to Darren, maybe we should face off on this Canadian division, which coincidentally, I love when sponsors run into each other. It's the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center. Sorry to make you guys throw all the logos up. But should the Scotia North Division continue past this year? Now, I voted no. I'm starting to move off it. I'm starting to say I could be convinced. If you could give me a good enough reason, I could be convinced. And where are you on it?
I'm leaning no.
You're leaning no, but did you initially vote yes?
Well, my initial thought is I love it. I think it should absolutely be here. I think it's one of those things about too much hockey. I think it'll get old quick. And, not in terms of next year or the year after that, but 3, 4, 5 years, it'll start to feel like the CFL of the NHL. Right? It'll start to feel like, just the teams up north and the McDavids and the Matthews, and they'll start forgetting about the Canadian division in the United States.
There's that term of prisoner of the moment. Are we just so in love with it right now because it's new, and then we'll just toss it aside? And that's the tough part for the hardcore, diehard hockey fans, of which we're in that group, and Clark too. We're never going to get tired of it, but maybe Johnny Sixpack or Martha Sixpack is going to get tired of it. And that needs to be a consideration.
Yeah.
But I said no simply because of the time zones. We can't have guys flying from Montreal to Vancouver and back and forth. But if you find ways and make it like a baseball schedule and you stay out there for 2 or 3, I could be convinced.
Sure.
I honestly could. But you also do, when the border opens, go down and play the American teams as well. So I'm starting to move off it. We started at opposite ends, and we're going like this.
I know.
The offside the face-off is brought to you by the Mad Greek Restaurant. For the best authentic Greek cuisine, check them out. Available for licensed dining, takeout, or delivery. Visit their website at themadgreekeatery.com.
What I wonder is at the end of this thing, in a few months, are we going to be sitting here asking the poll question, would you support a 56-game schedule moving forward? Whether it's more spread out, more time in between, or really super condensed.
That's not face-off. That's when the gloves come off.
Yeah.
And for the Ultimate Fan Zone, home of the home teams, jerseys, caps, and team apparel, they're your officially licensed fan store in Moose Jaw, built by fans for the fans in southern Saskatchewan. Prairie Mobile text line, Metal Shingle Guy writes in and says, I kind of would miss a Bruins-Canadians tilt or two. That's the rub. So if you open up that division to play outside your division, but you play mostly within your division, which is normally the way it's set up, I think there's some merit there. Ray writes in from the 6. Hey, Rod, I felt bad for Drew Brees last night. Not the way you want it to end. He is a class act. I wish him well. TB12 does it again. Unbelievable. Looking forward to the NFL Conference Championships. That's from Ray in Toronto. Brady in Saskatoon says, hey, Rod, sad way for Brees to go out. He says, I find it odd that there are NBA and NHL games being played so early in the day. People have school and work to go to. Tim Stutzla with an amazing first NHL goal. Lafreniere has yet to do anything. That's from Brady in Saskatoon. Listen, with the Brees, would you guys stop it? Stop it. You feel bad for Drew Brees? This is why I looked this up in the break. Who do you think's made the most money in the National Football League over the last 20 seasons? Who? Drew Brees? I wish somebody would feel sorry for me and give me $269 million in the last 20 seasons.
Back pay.
The poor son of a gun! Tom Brady next, $261,791. Ben Roethlisberger's third. Matt Ryan, that fraud, is fourth. Phillip Rivers, fifth in earnings. Oh, poor Drew Brees. Where's this next meal coming from? He's going to be pulling up to the food bank with a fake mustache and glasses on. Feel sorry for Drew Brees. Come on, come off it. And DG in Saskatoon, morning guys, simply put, Tiger was way better than The Last Dance. Learned a ton about the greatest golfer of all time. DG in Saskatoon. Oh. You got some thoughts on that?
Yeah, we can.
15 seconds.
There's not enough time. We'll have to carry this in to tomorrow. Please carve some time to talk about the Tiger Woods documentary
I'll
tomorrow.
make a note of it. My deal, Mike Lee's watching. He says a 56-game season. I'm good with that. Bite your tongue, Mike. How about we have an 82-game season and we spread it over 52 weeks? Just go year-round. How about that? Jeff Cabillas in Winnipeg says, Johnny Sixpack sounds like a wrestling name. It does, doesn't it?
It does.
We'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central on Facebook Live and noon Eastern here on Game Plus. Thanks for watching, y'all. Let's make some noise.